Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about the Lincoln 1-cent coin, one of the most well-known coins in the US. It was first made in 1909 and has gone through many design changes over the years, from the classic wheat penny to the memorial and shield designs. Each version has its own story. Some of these coins are very common, but a few are rare and valuable. Let's take a closer look and see which Lincoln cents are worth checking for in your pocket change. First up, the 1980 D Lincoln 1-cent coin was minted at the Denver Mint and features the D Mint mark beneath the year on the obverse side. This coin belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. On the obverse side, the coin carries a right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Surrounding the portrait are the inscriptions "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" on the left side, and the year 1980 with the mint mark on the right. The reversed side of the coin shows the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. designed by Frank Gasparro. Above the memorial is the inscription "United States of America" and below it is the denomination 1 cent. Between these is the motto "E pluribus unum." If examined closely, a small image of the Lincoln statue seated within the memorial can be seen, maintaining the theme of honoring Abraham Lincoln. This coin was struck in a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which was standard for pennies minted before the change in 1982. When newly struck, the coin would have had a bright reddish tone due to its high copper content. Over time and through extended circulation, environmental factors such as moisture, humidity, and exposure to air can cause the surface of the coin to corrode. A coin in bad and rusty condition may show extensive surface damage, including dark patches, reddish-brown corrosion, and loss of detail. The texture may become uneven and inscriptions may be faint or partially obscured. Rust on copper coins often results from poor storage conditions or exposure to acidic or damp environments. Even though the coin may have little to no numismatic value due to its degraded condition, it still holds historical and educational importance. Coins like this tell the story of everyday commerce and the life of circulated money. They pass through countless hands and locations and often bear the physical signs of that journey. The 1980 D penny represents the economy and minting practices of the late 20th century and offers insight into how currency physically ages when not preserved in ideal conditions. Collectors may retain such coins for study or as examples of natural coin aging, while others may keep them for sentimental or educational purposes. While not suitable for high-grade collections, coins in poor condition can still contribute to a fuller understanding of numismatics and coin preservation. The 1980 D Lincoln cent in bad and rusty condition is a reminder of the importance of handling and storing coins properly to maintain their integrity and appearance over time. Next up we have the 1971 D Lincoln 1-cent coin was minted at the Denver Mint and is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which was issued from 1959 to 2008. This series continued the design tradition of honoring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, while the reverse featured the Lincoln Memorial Building. The coin's obverse includes a profile of President Lincoln facing right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1971 to the right, followed by the D Mint mark indicating it was produced in Denver. The reverse side features the detailed image of the Lincoln Memorial with the words "United States of America" at the top and the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. Between these is the national motto "E pluribus unum." The image of the memorial also includes a tiny representation of the seated Lincoln statue, which is a tribute to the former president's legacy. This coin is composed primarily of copper with a small percentage of zinc and tin, which was the standard metal composition for 1-cent coins during this period. Initially, these coins had a bright reddish copper color, but over time, the exposure to moisture, oxygen, and environmental pollutants can cause oxidation. This results in dark discoloration or black shading, particularly on the obverse, and can be accompanied by surface rust or corrosion. A coin described as having a black shade on the front side and being rusty indicates significant surface wear, likely from long-term circulation and environmental exposure. The condition of this coin suggests it has been heavily used and poorly stored, which has led to visible damage such as discoloration, dullness, and possible pitting of the metal. While these physical changes reduce the coin's collectible value, especially to those seeking pristine or uncirculated examples, the coin still holds historical interest. It reflects the design and minting practices of the early 1970s and remains a genuine piece of everyday American coinage from that era. Coins like this often appeal to collectors who are interested in circulated examples for educational or reference purposes. They can also be used as teaching tools to show how coins age over time and how environmental conditions can impact the preservation of metal currency. Though the monetary value may be minimal due to its condition, the 1971 Lincoln cent continues to serve as a tangible link to the past and a symbol of enduring American coinage traditions. Next up we have the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent coin without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint and represents a significant year in the history of United States coinage. This was a transitional year when the U.S. Mint changed the composition of the penny from 95% copper and 5% zinc to a predominantly zinc core with a thin copper plating. Because of this change, both copper and copper-plated zinc varieties were struck in 1982, resulting in several different types of 1980 Lincoln cents. These include both large and small date versions in each metal composition, making 1980 a notable year for collectors and numismatists. The obverse of the coin features a right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head is the phrase "In God We Trust," to the left is the word "Liberty," and to the right is the date 1982. The absence of a mint mark under the date indicates the coin was struck in Philadelphia. The reverse side continues the Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959, with the structure centered and flanked by inscriptions reading United States of America and 1 cent. Above the memorial is the national motto E pluribus unum. The condition of the coin as described indicates significant circulation and environmental exposure. A black shade on the front side and evidence of rust suggest that the coin has suffered from oxidation and corrosion, likely due to contact with moisture or being stored in poor conditions over time. Rest on a penny typically points to the zinc core being exposed, which is common in the copper-plated zinc version when the outer layer wears away or is compromised. Although coins in this condition have little to no numismatic value for collectors seeking high-grade examples, they are still of interest for their historical context and the transitional nature of the year in which they were minted. For example, identifying whether a 1980 penny is made of copper or zinc can be part of the educational value of such coins. This can usually be determined by weight, with copper versions weighing approximately 3.11 grams and zinc versions weighing about 2.5 grams. Despite the damage and surface wear, a 1980 Lincoln cent still holds symbolic importance as a part of everyday American commerce and minting history. It represents the practical use of coinage in circulation and stands as an example of how different environmental conditions affect the physical state of coins over decades. While its collectible value may be diminished due to its condition, the coin remains a small but tangible piece of U.S. history. Next up we have the 1967 Lincoln 1-cent coin without a mint mark was minted in Philadelphia during a period when the United States Mint temporarily removed mint marks from all coins in an effort to discourage coin hoarding and collecting that was affecting the circulation of coins. This coin features the classic design introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, displays a right-facing profile of Lincoln, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" along the upper edge, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1967 to the right. The reverse side of the coin continues the Lincoln Memorial design created by Frank Gasparro, which had been in use since 1959. The Lincoln Memorial is centered and features the inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent with the motto E pluribus unum above the memorial. If examined closely, the statue of Lincoln inside the memorial is also visible, a unique and detailed element for such a small denomination. In terms of physical condition, this coin shows clear signs of age and exposure. The presence of dust suggests that it may have been stored or handled in an environment where dirt and particles settled on its surface. The mention of rust indicates that the coin has experienced some degree of oxidation, although true rust typically refers to iron-based materials. In coins like the Lincoln cent, this usually means corrosion or verdigris resulting from reactions with moisture or chemicals over time. Since 1967, pennies were still made with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. They are generally more resistant to corrosion than later zinc-based versions, but they are not immune to environmental damage. Despite the wear and surface imperfections, the coin still maintains historical significance. It reflects a time of change in U.S. coinage policy and is part of a long-running and iconic series that is still in production today. While the coin's collectible value in this condition is minimal, it remains a genuine artifact of its era and offers insight into the practical and artistic elements of mid-20th century American currency for those interested in coin history or completing a circulated Lincoln cent collection. Even a well-worn example like this still holds interest and meaning. Next up we have the 1965 Lincoln 1 cent coin without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint during a time when the U.S. Mint had temporarily suspended the use of mint marks. This measure was part of a broader initiative to reduce coin hoarding and improve coin circulation. The coin retains the traditional design that had been in use since 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse of the coin features a right-facing portrait of President Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The inscriptions include "In God We Trust" along the top edge, "Liberty" on the left side, and the date 1965 on the right. The reverse design, created by Frank Gasparo, depicts the Lincoln Memorial at the center, flanked by the inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent, with the motto E pluribus unum above the memorial. In terms of composition, the 1965 Lincoln cent is made from a bronze alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This composition gives the coin a distinct reddish-brown hue, although the exact tone can vary depending on age, storage conditions, and circulation. Coins from this period were well-crafted and durable, which has helped many survive in relatively good condition. This particular coin is described as being in good condition, indicating that while it may have seen some circulation, the design elements remain visible and the overall appearance is preserved. There may be minor surface wear, but the inscriptions and imagery are still clearly legible. Such coins are valued primarily for their historical context and for completing sets rather than for their intrinsic monetary value. Nevertheless, a 1965 Lincoln cent in good condition serves as a solid example of mid-20th century American coinage and continues to hold interest for collectors and enthusiasts.